My parents disowned me for starting a business because it would embarrass them. 5 years later, my company was thriving, my wife was pregnant, and suddenly they remembered I existed, not to apologize, to demand I hire my golden child brother. Growing up, my brother was their trophy. Straight A's, big internships, corporate ladder. I was the other one. Every dinner felt like a performance review where I always failed. When he became the youngest VP in his company, my parents acted like they personally earned the promotion. That was the new family religion. Worship the golden child. Mock the spare. I didn't want a 9-to-5 life. I wanted to build something. I worked with cars for years, learned the industry, and started designing modern car accessories. I had a real plan, real research, real numbers. So I did the dumb thing and tried to share it with my parents, hoping just once they'd act like parents. 2 days after they threw my brother a huge VP party, I told them my idea. My dad laughed like I'd told a joke. My mom smirked and said, "You can't be serious." Then my dad leaned back and hit me with, "We'd be embarrassed introducing you." I told them I was serious. I told them I was doing it. My mom waved her hand like shooing a fly. "Stick to your job, you're not capable." My dad's face hardened. "If you do this, we cut you off. We're not having a failure in the family." That word landed like a slap. Failure. They gave me 2 options. Stay small and make them comfortable, or leave and lose them. I didn't even raise my voice. I just nodded, walked out, and never looked back. I quit my job anyway. The first months were brutal. I lived broke, ate cheap, slept light. Every dollar went back into the business. I pushed word of mouth like my life depended on it, because it did. Then investors showed up. Then orders doubled. Then doubled again. A year and a half later, it stopped being survival and started being real. I got my own place, a good neighborhood, a car I actually loved driving. I wasn't rich, but I was free. And I didn't even feel the need to rub it in their face, because honestly, they didn't deserve the update. During those 5 years, I hit milestones they never saw coming. I got married. 2 years in, last month, my wife told me she was pregnant. I kept my peace, kept my distance, and kept my life moving. Then my parents texted me, not "How are you?" Not "We're sorry." Just "Can we meet?" My wife told me to hear them out, so I went. The second I stepped inside, I knew something was off. They were too warm, too polite, like strangers trying to sell me something. They complimented my business, said they were glad I proved them wrong. Still no apology, just a congratulatory pat on the head, like I'd finally earned basic respect. Then my mom sighed dramatically and said, "Your brother's going through a hard time." Apparently his company had layoffs. Upper management got cut, including him, 4 months unemployed. My parents talked like the world was ending, like he'd been wounded in war. I listened quietly, already knowing where this was going. My dad finally said it. "You need to hire him." My mom nodded fast. "He's depressed. He needs purpose. You have a company now. It's perfect." I just stared at them. 5 years of silence. Then this, not even a "we were wrong," just a demand, delivered like an order. I told them I'd think about it. They looked relieved, like they'd already won. That night, my wife and I talked. She didn't push me. She just said, "It's your company, your choice." And she was right. I didn't want my brother in my workplace. We never had a good relationship. He didn't even defend me when our parents cut me off. He just watched. So I said no. They spammed me with texts for days. Then they called, furious, like I'd stolen something. My dad yelled, "After everything we did for you." My mom cried, "We raised you. We paid for you." I didn't even flinch. Raising me wasn't a favor. It was the bare minimum. I said, "You disowned me. You don't get to demand anything now." My dad snapped, "You're petty. You should be over it." Then my mom hit me with the big lie. "We would have supported you if you failed." I laughed. One sharp laugh. "You literally threatened to cut me off for trying." I said, "Don't rewrite history." I blocked them. A couple weeks later, my wife and I announced her pregnancy online. Family congratulated us. Then I got an anonymous email. It said my child would suffer because of what I was doing to my family. I knew it was my parents. Nobody else would wish harm on a baby out of spite. That flipped a switch in me. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't want stress on her. I drove to my parents' house instead and stood outside their door like a ghost they created. They refused to open it. So I raised my voice through the wood and said, "You will never meet my child." I said, "You will never touch my life again." I said, "Retirement help? Forget it. You picked your golden child. Deal with it." Then I left, and for the first time, I felt clean. Like I finally cut out something infected. A few days later, my brother called me. I ignored the first call. Then he texted, urgent, not asking for a job. So I answered. He sounded tired. Not arrogant, not smug, just tired. He said relatives were messaging him, asking why our parents were harassing me. He had no idea. Our parents never told him they demanded anything. They lied to his face too. He said, "I never asked them to do that." So I told him the truth, all of it. There was a long silence. Then he exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. He admitted he actually had job offers. He was choosing to take a break. The depression wasn't fake, but the desperate, helpless story was. He sounded angry, not at me, at them. He apologized for the past, not dramatically, just quietly, like he meant it. It didn't erase anything, but it was something. He confronted our parents. They fought. Bad. He accused them of controlling his entire life. They exploded and started guilt-tripping him the same way they tried with me. And when Craig finally stopped talking to them, they blamed me. Of course they did. They even made a Facebook post about how I ruined the family. That backfired fast. Our relatives tore them apart in the comments, called out their favoritism, called out their manipulation, called out the fact they were terrible to both of us, just in different ways. My parents deleted the post and blocked everyone. Now they're alone, sitting in the silence they built. Craig and I aren't best friends, not yet, but we're trying, slowly, carefully. And me? I'm focused on my wife, my kid, my company, because I didn't lose a family. I escaped one.